Well, I suppose studying science, physical science, so Bachelor of Science and a Masters of Science, and I'm on my pathway to a PhD, a doctorate in science. So that's been my journey, and I believe it's my calling to influence or make an impact through science. Bit of perspective, we're the driest inhabited continent on Earth. We've probably heard that before, and Aboriginal people, the 250 or 200 plus languages and 600 plus dialects, are one of the oldest surviving cultures on the planet. And at the moment, we don't have a say in water or when and where it flows, and we don't really have a right to water unless we buy it. And I suppose my fight is to try and even up the playing field and back some of our knowledge, like our traditional knowledge, with some science. So we think about the Murray-Darling Basin Plan. That was built on credible evidence and best available science. So they were the two lines what you heard the politicians talking about and the Murray-Darling Basin Authority. And unfortunately, Aboriginal people didn't have that credible evidence. They didn't have the best available science that backed their knowledge or validated their knowledge. And my journey is to try and give that knowledge some validation, but also provide an opportunity for Aboriginal people to bang on the table and say, this is our right to water. Having a long connection to country, as Aboriginal people have had, water is a key part of survival. So that old saying, without it you die. And our old people say that we need to be having a say in how it's managed. And unfortunately, we're not at any tables. We struggle to get a voice. And I'm hoping with my training and experience, I can give a voice for Aboriginal people. I can't talk for Aboriginal people across Australia. I can talk for my mob. And if other people want to take on that advice, they can. But I suppose that's the challenge for Aboriginal professionals, is that you can't speak for Aboriginal Australia. I'm a Kamilaroi man, which is northwest New South Wales. So my country is at the bottom of the Great Artesian Basin. So there's springs and we also got surface water, rivers and things like that in my country. So groundwater and surface water interact together, and it's really important for my mob. And also groundwater is highly significant for women. So I need to be careful as well how and when I talk about especially groundwater. So if I say the wrong thing, I could get a slap up the head from the Arnie. So I need to be really careful. Yeah. But I believe I've got the support of my people, because we don't have people in these places fighting the fight. You know, we can march, we can rattle the spears, but we don't have a voice that is informed to talk water, because it's a complex language. And what I'm trying to do, I understand that language. I know what they're talking about. I can compete with the best of them, and I suppose it's my voice at that table that gives them the opportunity to have a voice. The way I go about it is I usually give a couple of examples of the value of water for Aboriginal people. So it's a key part of who we are, and a lot of our belief systems talk about healthy water, healthy people, healthy country, healthy culture. It's all there. And to a point, you know, we believe that, you know, the economy will be healthy as well because you've got a healthy river system. And at the moment, from our management, for 200 plus years, it hasn't been that good. You know, you find a lot of these water systems are fully allocated or over allocated. So our right to water in a fully allocated system is zero, because historically, when we were flora and fauna, we had no rights. And when we became human, unfortunately, all the water and land was gone. And so if we want water, we've got to buy it. And part of my journey is to try and give the opportunity for Aboriginal people to put their right to water on the table. So that could be through collecting their value sets around water and turning that into a water language. So it could be a flow requirement in a river. It could be a cease to pump in a river to make sure that a certain flow gets to a certain place at a certain time of year that it's important to Aboriginal people. Or it could be no more pumping near a groundwater dependent value. It could be a spring that's highly significant and people have got bores close by. So we want no more new bores, or we want to make sure that the integrity of that value set is protected. Water is very political, and because it's now a commodity, it's tradable. And I suppose when there's a dollar value on water, on the water resources, that's going to be a tough fight. And if we're saying our right to water is based on, our cultural beliefs, then someone might say that water's useless then, or it's wasted water because you're not getting an economic outcome out of it. So that's the challenge, and the misnomers we've got to try and fight is that our water is important to be in the river because fish need it, we need it, plants need it, the environment needs it, and our culture needs it. So if the water's there, as I said earlier, and it's healthy water, it's no use being black water, which is no oxygen. If it's healthy water, there's going to be people that interact with that river and they're going to be healthier. I think if I can produce a template for other Aboriginal communities to take on and say, right, this is a way to build our credible evidence and build our science and validate our knowledge, to request water and have a right to water to say, we want water at this time, we want water at this volume, we want water at this speed, based on our traditional knowledge, then I think my work is done. If I don't, then I've got to keep fighting. For me, I believe learning about traditional knowledge, growing up as in an Aboriginal family and having knowledge passed on, but then learning from a Western science point of view, I've seen the value of the two and I understand the two. I'm only a boy in cultural sense, I haven't been through a lot of the processes to get to a certain status in my culture, but of the knowledge I have about my culture is uplifting. But it also, I believe, it can work with Western science. And if Western science helps validate our knowledge, which I'm trying to do, I think we'll have a better country that's looked after. And that's my belief anyway.